All right, welcome to the podcast. This is the CrewCast podcast brought to you by nobody at all because we are not sponsored at this time and point. So if you want to sponsor us, hit us up. Okay. Audio Jungle. But for the most part, we have a great cast of people here today. We have Deluxe 20,
for the most part.
Nobody Epic, Shadow Beats, myself, and our special guest, if you can't tell by the title, D1, and it's D1 of AquaVibe, yes. And D1 does a lot of our music, if you don't know. He makes a lot of songs, a lot of productions. He does it all. If you haven't checked out his channel will be down below. Also, links to his iTunes account that you can check out any of the songs that he's made. I bet you if you've listened to probably any funny moments over the past 2 or 3 years, not even our videos, anybody's, then you're probably going to hear some of his tracks in the background. There's a lot of people that I've seen on YouTube use his tracks. I'm like, that's a D1 track. Every single one.
That's good music.
It's great music.
Banger after banger.
And he's actually got something coming out real soon. D1, tell us a little bit about that before we get started.
Yeah, I have the Crew mixtape coming out, which is going to be a collection of songs. Right now I got 3, and I'm working on the first of the 3, the video for the first of the 3, which I'm hoping to have out before 2017. The difference, what these are, that people didn't know, I'm the one who did the Crew remixes. This ones are, I should say, the mixtape is different than the remix in the sense that the remixes were more about kind of like the best moments and made them all the funny moments and basically putting it to music and making it almost like run like where the quotes from all the funny the games and stuff were basically almost like lyrics to a song, and then made it really musical and stuff. So it was very funny and cool at the same time, whereas the mixtape is almost like more cool than funny. It's slices and bits of your guys' voices chopped up into like basically instruments, like whether it's a full word or like parts of words, and basically all you guys are the textures of the song, actually the pieces of your voice. And then so the thing is that, like I was saying, the difference between this one is that the other thing was more about the funny and like the best moments of, and this is more like taking you guys and turning you guys into instruments, and like in like a pretty cool way. So the tracks are really cool. I'm really happy with them, actually. I
love them. If you've ever seen one of his live streams, he can take any sound. I think one of the first live streams I ever saw of D1's, he said, give me suggestions, anybody. And of course, being 12-year-old kids, someone goes, oh, sex sounds. So he made a whole song in less than 30 minutes over sex sounds alone, and I was blown away because it didn't sound like sex sounds. But
it was actually Shadow that suggested that.
Some kid. It was me making the sounds.
Oh, yeah, probably was. But it was really awesome, and he does a great job with that stuff. And he even made a song here lately. I did Bitch Ain't Got No Money, bitch, and it just like, he took it off, and it sounds amazing. It sounds like I can actually sing and actually know what I'm talking about, and I'm tone deaf and have nothing to do with that. But anyways, moving on. First subject we have for today, Joel had this idea where we would run back 2016 because it's getting really, really close to the new year, and also Christmas time is right around the corner. So we're actually kind of recording this a little bit before we normally would, because we're going to put this out. This is the last one we have before 2017, so we want to kind of run everything back from our channels to what we remember in pop culture or whatever it might be. I know Joel has a couple of things he wants to start off with, so Joel, hit us up with some things, recap of 2016.
Well, this one's going to exclude you, D1. I'm sorry, but I mean, there's other things that like I wanted to do our favorite, like my favorite video of 2016, and I told you guys I wanted to do this. So I don't know if you're looking at your own stuff, but and then maybe just like kind of a collaborative thought of our favorite videos we did as a group. I started off really slow in 2016. I just like, I can't remember what my mindset was, but I was just in one of those burnt out mindsets that I used to get into a lot more often. But I felt like overall this was like a decent year on YouTube for me. It was not my best. I feel I regressed a little bit, but I'm much happier in my life and my personal life, and I feel like I'm able to be a lot more consistent now. I've always been slow at realizing how to do things in school. I always got bad grades like freshman year or 6th grade year, or my freshman year of college I got terrible grades. And I felt like that on YouTube. Like once I became successful, I didn't really know how to handle it, and now I feel like I know how to YouTube a little bit. That being said, my favorite videos I made, probably grocery shopping with sidearms, one of my most viewed of the year at 500,000, just because it was the first time quite literally the first time I got to hang out with sidearms in public. I picked him up from the airport. And he was at my wedding, but you don't really get to hang out with anyone at a wedding. So I picked him up from the airport, and we went grocery shopping because I needed some groceries, and it was just a goofy little video, and I look forward to having him come over later in the year, or later in the early of next year to do some more stuff. And I actually really liked my Overwatch funny moments video that I made like in the summer, and I did not make another one. I don't know. I was talking about this problem tonight. There's a lot of games that I would play if other games didn't exist, and Overwatch is in the top 5. It's probably 5, but I just put all of the time that I have in my life into the top 4. And then I really like a video I made recently with Sidearms and Shadow called Sex Talk with Sidearms and Shadow, just doing BuzzFeed quizzes. So I mean, I don't want to talk about myself too much, but I just wanted to recap our year on YouTube and just thinking about things we enjoyed. And then I feel like next week's podcast is going to be more the looking forward podcast if this is the looking back one.
I like it. Some of the things for me, as far as our videos go, I'm looking just kind of through my timeline, and if I was going to take out like the major points, we ran 2 Minecraft series. We did a regular
Pixelmon.
Yeah, we did CrewCraft, and then we did Pixelmon later in the year, which I thought were very successful, both of them. I've had, I think, 24 episodes of CrewCraft, and then I ended up putting nearly 30 episodes of Pixelmon together, which is like the longest I ever did a Minecraft series.
If I could just interject, I'm sorry,
ahead.
I don't want to talk too much, but I think Pixelmon is one of our most successful group series, and I know a lot of people look back on like the first season of CrewCraft that we did as kind of a high point of content, and it was a lot different when we were recording that because it was a time when not all of us were doing YouTube full time and not everyone was recording the series, and it's kind of it's something I look back on, and I don't think it's one of those things where I feel like the fans think it's better content than we do necessarily, even though there were some great times had on that server. But Pixelmon is the most fun I've ever had on Minecraft. I've said many times I don't enjoy traditional Minecraft, and Pixelmon was a blast. I did die off in the series. We've made some mistakes in that series in terms of things that we had on the server that I'd love to get another shot at, possibly in 2017. That we talk about these things as a group. So I really enjoyed Pixelmon. I think that was a high point of a group effort this year.
Other things also. I put out my episode 100 of Counter-Strike Funny Moments. That has since died off because we don't play Counter-Strike as much. But Counter-Strike was a big part of 2016 as well. As we go through, I hit a big slump there because I was out without internet for a long time. And so that was a major point in my 2016, of course. Wow. But in April and May, pretty much I didn't have any type of internet, and it was probably the worst time of my life. So I can just remember back in those days, I would be on my phone 24/7 looking at stuff. I would be able to play single player games. I would give them to D20 on a USB drive, and then he would go to his house, upload them, and go from there. I would give him thumbnails, all that stuff. So he helped me out a ton. So I thank you again, D20, for helping me out with my YouTube channel back when it was just it was nothing I could do. It was just grinding 24/7. As we continue through 2016, a lot of experimentation with sexually, no, I'm just kidding, but with a lot of games, and my thumbnails have changed so much throughout the year. We did a lot of different, we played anything from poker, we played Dead by Daylight, we went back and forth to GTA and UHCs, we did a lot of stuff, and now H1 is my huge game that I play at the end of the year. I really love H1. I think it is my favorite game of 2016, by far, and it was out in 2016, but the way they revamped it, the way they've come along, and the guys can tell you I'm addicted to it. I think a lot of us are addicted to Rocket League right now, and a lot of us are addicted to, I say me, I'm addicted to H1. I know Jehovah plays it quite a bit too, and there's a couple other here and there, but for the most part, I think that's my 2016 wrapped up in just, a little bit of timeline.
Hell yeah.
And the podcast, of course.
You want to shout out? You gotta. For me, if I can, I don't know, because I'm not. You're not going to speak for yourself, Shadow. I think my favorite thing you did was Pixelmon, and that's kind of what comes to my mind when I think of the series, is because I watched. You're the only. Fuck all my friends. You're the only crew member I watched every single Pixelmon episode for. So I really liked that you did that.
Thanks.
Hey man.
But yeah, the whale was great. I loved Big Daddy.
Yeah,
Whale Lord.
If we're gonna look back on our YouTube channel, I didn't do anything.
I think Pixelmon was huge for you, and Town of Salem, of course, is the biggest game for Shadow 2016.
I know you don't look at statistics, but this was your biggest year view-wise. It had to be. I mean, you were posting a lot of. It was. I feel like this was the first year.
The only year I uploaded stuff.
Yeah. Well,
but I don't even think it. I don't even think it counts, because like. Town of Salem, like, I don't. Not to sound self-deprecating, but like, I don't put any work into my channel. Like, you guys are doing like, or a lot of YouTubers. And I'm not saying I want to change this, but like, you guys are putting videos together. You can just think back and like, yeah, like I put a lot of work into this, like, kind of like a special video type of thing. And I mean, even D1, like every single song he uploads, like he puts a shitload of work into. Me, I don't think Town of Salem really counts.
We have that discussion a lot, though, of what constitutes as a quote unquote talent, or I mean, like effort. I guess is more what you're talking about. Like D1 has a really easily identifiable talent, and it's he puts a lot of effort into it, and it's something that not a lot of people can do. And what we do could be done by a lot of people. So I feel like, at least for us, our group, it takes a lot of the impressiveness, if that's a word, away from it. But I feel like this was the first year you were confident in what you were doing, like your abilities to do what you do. You just like the game and you upload it, and that you've had years in the past where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this, I don't want to do that, and that's why I relate to you the most, because I feel that way about a lot of stuff too. And I was happy to see the town, the Salem, and the Pokemon stuff. I feel like you're in a good spot. Yep, and you hate yourself. All right. Well, I'm glad I was able to say that. Yeah, any thoughts, D20? I'm mad I didn't get the draw it challenge on my channel before you did.
Oh yeah. But I think one that I enjoy like shell shock and stuff. But I think one that I enjoyed the most this year was probably golf with friends, that turned into golf with your friends, because it really turned into some of our funnier videos with just the topics. It wasn't really about the gameplay. It was about, it kind of turned into a mini podcast kind of thing where we had different topics that we talked about or whatever. And unfortunately, we got better at the game, and so the games got shorter, but we had less time to talk to each other. But
it's true. So true.
But I think that was definitely a fun game for me anyways. So, and I think my favorite video of the year was probably the Transformer episode that we did. So
yeah.
Of golf?
Yeah.
Yes.
I recently went back and watched that again.
That's not coming to my memory. You're gonna have to.
You weren't there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
usually if I'm not there, it doesn't stick.
Yeah, you weren't there, but it is a classic. You need to go watch it. It was it's just one thing after another, kind of built on each other, and it was a bunch of punchlines, and it was just really good.
All right, yeah, I'll have to watch that after this.
Really good. D1, what about you, man? What sticks out in your mind 2016 work wise that you've done that you're trying to get to that has really stuck out?
Well, two things I'm thinking. One is that not about me, it's about you guys, and then I can also talk about what I was doing. But a few things that you guys touched on with the crew, which was pretty cool this year, I'll say, as being the guy who's kind of on the outside looking in. Yes, the D4 no internet slump, that was, as some person who watches you guys and likes to listen to you guys and stuff, that sucked. Like, and I'm not saying like D4, you saw. No, it is what it is. It just happened. But I'm saying, like, it was like, damn, like D4 is not around. Like, it felt like a huge. Just me talking, but it felt like a huge hole. It was like, wow, this really sucks. Everything's off to me. That's what it felt like. And when you got back, it was great because it went on so long. It was almost like, okay, is he coming back? Wasn't perfectly sure, but
Did you really quit YouTube?
Yeah, right. But it was great when it finally came back. It seemed like forever, but it was.
Did you knock up a hooker and have to?
Yeah.
I think we all feel that way, D1. When
leave town?
we leave,
I mean, we like having
from time
a
to
break.
time. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll let you two go.
Speak for yourself. I was running 2 channels.
D20 was doing extra work.
But I think that when any of us are gone for a period of time, vacation-wise, it gets where we kind of miss each other and we feel like there's a void there from time to time. And
Yep.
I don't know how these guys feel. They probably like, no, fuck that, I don't give a shit. But for me, I feel that way all the time. Like, hey, it's a void. And a lot of times we like fun. Like Joel had a spell where he didn't necessarily feel the YouTube thing at certain points, and he was just not feeling it.
I had a month, like at the start of this year, I wasn't feeling YouTube, and then like in August, I can't remember what month, I was just traveling a little bit, and I just didn't like talk to you guys for a month, and I just felt like doing that. And I feel like that's good. I feel like that's good. I feel like that.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, but we miss you.
YouTube
and it sucks.
YouTube is 100% mental. Like I mean, well, there's effort involved, but I guess effort is a mental thing. But it's just when you have jobs that require a significant amount of mental effort, I don't know. It just, you need breaks sometimes.
You do, and that was actually, it's funny. That was the next thing I was going to bring up. Joel, I almost feel like, to a certain extent, like Joel had like almost like a renaissance in a sense, because I remember speaking with you, Joel, like months back when you were in that funk and you seemed so lost, and it was like you were, basically conflicted about what you wanted to do, and it just wasn't, you weren't in your groove, basically, not sure what to upload, this and that. It was just definitely like a funky slump that you were in there, and I was hoping for the best and stuff, and then it just seemed like all of a sudden, boom, like, one thing led to another, and you basically got, came out of that, as far as I can tell. Like, from my perspective, and it was great. It was like you got back into, like, it seemed like you're having fun with videos and stuff, and that was really cool.
No, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I really do feel like I'm, because I remember having that multiple conversations with you about that at the start of the year, and I do feel like I'm out of it, and I know we all feel like that. It's not unique to me, and like I've said, I know of all of us having thoughts like that before. I could name times, but it was I feel like the problem with putting a lot of your faith and your like your motivation in numbers on YouTube is when the numbers fall just a little bit, they falter a little bit, or anything like that. It's just so superficial. And when you can be confident in your content, regardless of what the number is, and enjoy what you're uploading, not seeing, and I mean that may sound like a mentality from like a loser mentality, or like a kind of a weird analogy, but it really, I feel more confident than I ever have in what and more happy than I've ever been. This is actually, I think I know I've uploaded the most videos in a year this year, and it's the longest I've gone with. I've only missed like 3 days in a row a couple of times, but for the most part I've been averaging about 25 to 30 videos a month for the last 6 months, and I've never done that before.
Awesome.
And so it made me happy.
The other thing too, and going along on the same thing, or the same subject, Shadow. Well, it's funny. Like I have fun with it sometimes, and it makes me laugh sometimes. But specifically when I'm looking for, content to remix from you guys and stuff. So as I'm remixing stuff, I'll almost have a quote. I'll be like, all right, I got Joel ready. I got Speedy. I got Hova. All right, I still need to get Shadow and D20 into the song. Let me go looking for something from those guys. And Shadow, it's funny. From my perspective, it's really cool. He was so Town of Salem. He was so into that. I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen a lot of stuff before, but it's funny to me because I've made jokes about it on Twitter or whatever. Because I don't understand any of it, and I just see it looks like like a circle of weebles. They move together, and then words start, and then there's I don't see anything, and then it goes dark, and then it gets light, and it just looks, from my perspective, not understanding it at all, it looks silly.
It's amazing.
It's a game where you have to work with people, and people are fucking idiots, and it pisses me off.
Right. But the thing, and yeah, there's so much more to it, but from the outside, it looks so silly, but I know there's something to it. I just don't like know what it is, you know, but I know it's there. But
you're lucky.
You're so like passionate and like that from here. So from this perspective, this is maybe what you didn't think. So when I'm looking for content from you guys, the best thing for me to find is stuff where you guys are passionate, where you're animated, like whoa or whatever. Like I can't, the monotone stuff. It's like I've been through hours and hours of monotone stuff, and it's just like, oh, come on, somebody get excited, please. But I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it'll happen, but there's a lot of, say, like CSGO, it'll be very, say, quiet, trying to get your thing. All right, you know, and there's a lot of concentration. Then there's like a payoff at the end, like, woo, or whatever. But visually, it's great to watch, but from my perspective, it's like, all right, I already got woos. I already got, you know, Speedy going woo, so I got to find something else. So when I find something that, like a video where you guys are passionate, that's the best ones. And for Shadow, he's the toughest because he's usually one of the quietest, and he's also, you know, very, he speaks, you know, real like mellow usually and stuff. And it, no, you're perfect. It is what it is. So I have to work harder. And then those Talon Salem videos were like gold for me. I was like, yes, because you get it so upset and excited and stuff. It was great. So I saw that, to me, I saw like a lot of passion in that. So from one perspective, I'm like, it's great because he really likes this. Like for me, like I said, it looks like Weebles moving together. I don't get it. It looks silly, but like he's into it. So I was like, cool, that's a good thing. Or as opposed to, you know, all right, we got to play this game. Got to make a video, you know, like that, which I know obviously happens. So when you find something that you're really passionate about, even if it's not the most popular game or something like that, that's cool. That'll maybe help keep things afloat, you know what I'm saying? So I think this year with you guys, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of experimenting with different games and stuff at different moments, and that was cool. You know, yeah.
And if I could hit on something you mentioned just really quickly, because I don't want to talk too much, but that he said, you know, even if it's not the most popular game, it like, I think this was the year on. Damn, what do you got? You got fast food orders going on in your fucking apartment, D1? What's it? Or your
Sorry,
house?
That's my phone.
Oh, okay.
That's D4 tweeting something. I think it is.
I retweeted you.
Oh my god. No, it's fine. It just sounded like you were about to order up. Prize on the left. This was, I feel like, a year that we realized that the game isn't the most important thing. It's like, if you like the game, I was having a lot of these conversations with B-dubs about, like, if you really like a game, you can specialize in a game on YouTube and be very, very successful. I remember one dude we met at PAX or E3, I don't remember, one of those conventions. He was like a fan of us, and it was like cool, and I remembered his name, and I looked him up on Twitter, and he's blowing up off of like Clash Royale and Pokemon Go, and obviously Pokemon Go is one of the biggest games this year, but you know, and Clash is big too. But you can just, if you really love a game, I mean, B-Dub's brother blows up off of Amazing Frog. Like you can find your niche on YouTube. It's a big website, and people complain about saturation, which is true, but that you know, there is a lot of saturation, but that just means that if you can find that unique thing, that thing that a lot of people aren't doing, there's a lot of people that are trying to make content on this website, but there's also a lot of people who are trying to watch content on this website. So if you can just focus on what you like to do, viewers will find you. Like, I know it's a struggle. I know that's like a really optimistic viewpoint, but I really felt that this year, and it really made me happy to see people doing their thing and people enjoying it and all that. I do want to mention, he's not here, but I did want to mention this was the year Sidearms hit 1 million subs, and I feel like if we move past this, it might not get mentioned, and I don't want to single people out, but I do think it was an amazing year for him, and I'm very proud of my little bro Sidearms.
Yeah,
I just wish.
Yeah.
What show?
I just wanted to say I wish that I had been the one preaching that, hey man, upload what you like.
I think you were to a certain extent, though.
I'm being sarcastic.
No, he.
Okay,
really,
I think
I've
so.
been saying this shit for
being
years.
Yeah,
but it's so to have.
But I need to hear somebody from
you're
Michigan
in the game. I didn't need to hear B-Dub say it. No, well, okay, but
I'm kidding.
You get that's the thing about YouTube is you don't start thinking for yourself anymore. You start thinking, and that's why it's so valuable to have friends like Shadow or friends who just are so I think I'm using this word correctly, antithetical in their thoughts, like just completely you have people, and you have to have many people in your life, and then you want to have some of those people that just think completely outside of the realm of what you would call normal, and then they have these good ideas, and sometimes you listen to them. So I wish I would have listened to you a lot sooner, Shadow. But it's so hard once you get on YouTube. You start doing your thing, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm in the YouTube game. What is everyone else in the YouTube game doing? Sometimes when I'm trying to think of videos to make, I look at the gaming page to see what's trending, and that's just stupid because I should just make what I like, but right. You still fall into those habits.
Mm-hmm. I'll do that to try to find games that I think are interesting to play. But I mean, the most important thing is like, I actually think that's the worst thing that you can possibly do when you're trying to think of things to upload for your channel, because like,
it really is.
It's already been done.
I mean, if you're trying to find something that you like, then obviously that's the most important thing. But at the same time, if you're just like, oh, I'm like, what's everybody else uploading? Okay, like I'm gonna make it big off of this. Like, no, you're not. It's #1 on fucking YouTube right now. Like, it's so you're not gonna make a name for yourself with that shit. Like, sorry.
No.
Sure. It's like falling in line with something instead of being the leader in the first place. So we need a lot more. If you want to, I guess, make it right now because of the saturation that you're talking about, Joel, you need to jump in front of the line.
Jump on a plane and yell in Arabic.
Wow.
Then again, at the same time,
those guys, what the hell?
At the same time, you've got the people who are just like scouring Steam or something, just like, oh, this game looks like it could possibly blow up or something like that. Yeah. So like you upload, you've got like 17 different series that are 2 episodes long because like you didn't hit the home run, and that makes your channel look like shit. Basically, if you're starting YouTube with the goal of making it a career, you're doing it wrong, and go fuck yourself.
It's so
Shadow,
hard.
It's so true, though.
Yeah, Shadow, tell us.
It's so true, though, Shadow. Like,
no, it is. Yeah, none of us started with the idea that it was going to be a career.
We didn't even know that we could earn money, and we've said this a bunch of times.
I mean,
yes, money
does, but I didn't assume
does play a big part of it now, and I would love to see how many people would still stick around if money wasn't involved anymore. If money left, how many people would? Would I be on as much? No, I'll be honest. I would not be on as much with uploading videos on a regular basis. But would I still be on? I think so, because I still, at the very beginning, what brought me to YouTube before 2016 was that I could show my friends, and I got feedback from the videos that I put up, and I felt good about the production that I put out. Now, back in that day, I was rocking a Dazzle, and that I bought $50 at Best Buy, and I had watched Blame Truth upload a COD video, and I thought, hey, I could do it better than this dumbass, and so I got on, and I couldn't, but I thought I could, and that's how it is for a lot of people.
I thought
I was funnier than this guy.
You that's a lot of our mentality when we were smaller. It's like, oh, I can't wait to pass this person because I know I'm better than them, and then eventually you become the one that people pass. But I mean, I'm still that milestone for someone, or we've been that milestone for people, and we've passed people who are our milestones. So it's just kind of the cycle of YouTube, and I feel like I'm talking too much, so I'm sorry about that.
No, keep on. It's what it is. Podcast. Keep talking.
Well, sorry, Shadow. I like when I having the group conversation, but it's been a great year.
I had one milestone.
Go ahead.
I can't remember if I told you guys. If I did, I'm sorry for just saying the same story. But when I started, what is it, 2011 or so? So I was basically just watching YouTube. At that time I was watching Call of Duty videos, which then turned into me watching funny Call of Duty videos. And at the time, that troll, that was on every video. Now, I think it's hilarious.
I remember.
And I think it's hilarious. It's a classic song, this and that. It's great for what it is and stuff. it was either that or the Yakety sax, which is that right. But it was mainly that whoa, 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 that song. So what I did was I'm watching these videos every day, and that was my entertainment. I was having fun with it. Even like the Modern Warfare 2, Riot Shield, griefing and stuff. Just still like stuff when it was still new and funny. And I'm watching this stuff, and so what I did was I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, I play the game, but I don't really have the patience to do to go in game and do the funny stuff, and I don't have the equipment to record my game, so I'm not going to be doing that. But I was like, well, I'm a music guy, so like I would like to become part of this, just like people sometimes they'll hook up with other people and whatever. But with me, it was, and when I say hook up, I mean like
collab
through to play and stuff. So I was like, all right, I set out. My goal was to replace the La 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 song or whatever as the funny, gaming song in the YouTube gaming community. And I could say I think the ones that I did basically did that, because that song basically kind of slowly slipped away, and the happy troll and the party troll and all those things came in, and everyone was using them. So for me, that was yeah. So for me, that was I don't like bragging or talking about accomplishments, really, this and that. But that was one thing. Since you guys are talking about like YouTube and accomplishments or whatever, that was like one thing. I was like, wow, that was one thing that actually felt good, where I really felt like, wow, I did that. Like that's pretty good. Because I was a nobody. I just came out of nowhere. I was just somebody who watched the videos just like everyone else. And
I wish you made more music like that, to be honest. I love your music you make now. I wish that you had I told you this the other day. Wish you had all the time in the world that you could do this 24/7 and just make music and not have to worry about bills and just make music, and you can make another album of those troll type songs that they go real well. But I can't tell you how many videos again that I've heard with your tracks on it, and people have no clue. Like there's nothing in the description saying, hey, this is made by D1. And most of the time, if you look on my descriptions, I put made by D1 because I use something from you at some point, probably during the video.
That's just as a common sense thing. I hate when people don't credit people for their work. It's funny to look at it too. Yeah, I don't like think about it. When you said that, D1, I'm glad you said it, because I know this isn't a great group for people who like to talk about themselves. But this is to look at, like, the Happy Troll has 2.2 million views and the Party Troll has 1.7 million views. I just have the tracks on my little thing, so I never look at the actual views on the video. But yeah, I mean those are like, you hear them, and I know I hear them in a lot of people's videos, and that's really cool. I like hearing that mentality of like when you started, because we've all been in that place where we're like, I know I can do it better than this asshole, and then you gotta try it out. But you want to transition off the YouTube stuff, guys? I don't know if we cover most of this.
Yeah, let's do pop culture as a whole. Let's tackle that a little bit, and current news. What's going on? Go ahead.
I want to get D1 on this next one. So I want to talk about music in 2016. Since you're the music aficionado, what track are you playing? Like, you is it cool to say that you play out music for money, like DJing? Do you say that? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's on the DL.
Well, you just did.
People usually think they see. Okay, so people who know me through Twitter and whatnot, and the internet. They think that, like, when I go out and DJ, which I do every single weekend as a job. They think that I'm like going out and playing my songs and stuff. It's like, no.
No.
It's what I do is purely money gigs, which, like, you go there and they want top 40, blah blah blah. And if you go off of that, literally, like, managers or someone will come out and be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
change it." It's that type of a place. So it's pure money stuff. It's not. I don't want to be a.
You're not freestyle.
No, I'm not trying to poop on my own thing, but it's not fun, really. It's just it can be fun at moments, but it's just I'm playing basically the stuff that you're supposed to play.
What did you play the most this year? Like, what was the big songs of 2016 for you? The ones that you're just like, I gotta play this shit again.
Sorry.
Sorry by Justin Bieber.
Say sorry.
But is it the Justin Bieber song?
Yeah, Justin Bieber songs. Where I play the super poppy crowds, it's all about Justin Bieber this year. That was probably the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Dare we say it? Nobody. Can we say it?
Say what?
You know what I'm about to say?
What are you about to say?
They have banger after banger, my friend.
You the Chainsmokers. Yeah, you play a lot of Chainsmokers, D1.
Let's see. Well, Closer, of course. That's
That's the hit right now.
the biggest single. Yeah, I think two. I would say Sorry and Closer are probably the two biggest from the year.
Okay.
From the crowds that I'm playing for, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, it was an interesting year for music. There's a lot of like weird experimental albums from big artists, or like just artists do this thing now where they just drop an album and they don't do any promotion, which I mean it's not a new thing. It's been going on for a year or two, but like a lot of the biggest artists are doing it. No, we don't have to spend too much time on this topic, but I just wanted to get your input on what because you would be the one to know since you're out there playing those gigs and like what's being heard a lot.
There was one thing that just came to my attention this week that was actually pretty darn cool. I'll say this: so from my perspective, I'm dealing with the DJing and stuff. I'm dealing with like the very popular stuff, the stuff that's on the radio. So whether it be like general pop or like current rap radio, whatever that stuff, I gotta like deal with that pool of music, right? So to be honest with you, at this point in time, most of the radio rap from today, I'm not a fan of. I just, the whole feel of it, I'm not into it. I'm not feeling it. I don't. For me, there's like, I don't know. It's just my own thing. The energy in it sucks. It's so low. It's the same sound over and over again.
It's repetitive.
Oh yeah,
so repetitive.
Everything is 70 beats per minute. It's all like basically the same tempo and stuff. So I kind of get into, I'm like jaded when it comes to that. So if there's a new song out, I'm like, okay, whatever. As soon as I hear the beat start, I'm like, whatever. Or if it's even as bad as sometimes if I see a name of an artist, like I don't even know the guy, and I'll just see the name and be like, ugh, it just sounds like it's the same crap. So that happens. That's the honest truth. So artists that came out recently that's starting to get a little popular, Dram.
Oh, dude, you're a Dram fan? Yes.
Dram.
I've seen Dram live. He's amazing.
That's awesome. Hey, I just thought like I heard part of Broccoli, the song that's popular. I'm just like, oh, okay, same crap. I didn't really listen to it. And then a good friend of mine who's actually was in my band with me when we had it, he pointed him out to me. I was like, oh, that guy, really? He's like, dude, I haven't stopped listening to him. I'm like, what? So he showed me a song, and anyway, the point is, what was so cool and refreshing. He calls it trappy go lucky. It's trap music, but it's like it's hilarious. Like the song is called that I heard is called "I Think You're Cute," and in this day and age, like, okay, so
isn't that with Lil Yachty?
Maybe I don't. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: like, I don't mean. Sorry if I'm talking too much. But,
No. You're the aficionado.
But like say for example, Nicki Minaj, right? I'm not even saying anything bad about it. I think she's got like a lot of. She's almost like a rap version of Lady Gaga type of thing, where she's like kind of like she was like really funky and weird and stuff, and that's really cool. Like, but one thing I didn't like is just the current state is like that type of music is just like you used to write lyrics so that you're basically making a point without saying it literally, so that was the art of it. And today they just say it literally, like straight up, like put your head here and I'm gonna do this. Like,
ride a dick bicycle.
Ride that dick bicycle, boys. I tell you what.
There's nothing like, it's kind of like, I don't need to sound like whatever, but like there's nothing artistic.
Like grandpa.
No, I get what you're saying though. Music has moved away from that totally. Yeah. Like it used to be around the bush, and now it's like, oh god.
It's just like
the literal,
literal. But there's no more like cool poetic nothing. So like this guy, I heard this Dram song, and it's like trap music. So as soon as it comes on, it's like, oh, here we go again. For me anyway. And it's like I stopped and listened, and it's hilarious. The guy is saying, "I think you're cute. We should go out on a date." And like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop where he goes and and then just turn the lyrics around so it's like, oh, there it is. And it doesn't. He just talks about, he says, we should go and I don't know, do a little something and go out. Like I'm a foodie, so I'm going to take you out to eat. Like that's the whole song. I'm just like, and the other shoe never dropped. and I was waiting for it, and it never. I'm like, that's for me. I don't know. I'm going on about it, but it was refreshing. I was like, holy crap, people still write songs like this. This is great.
No,
So,
I'm so glad you brought up Dram, because he like that. I mean, I've always Cha Cha was the first time I heard about him. That was a big radio single, and I was like, who is this guy? And that's like one of my favorite summer songs now. There's like certain songs I'll only listen to during certain seasons, and Cha Cha is like my go-to summer song once it starts getting warm out after the warm weather, or after the cold weather in 2017. Like in March or April, you're gonna hear me playing Cha Cha if you're around me. But it's. I get really into music, so I don't, I could talk about it for a long time, like I know you could, and Shadow could as well. But this is an interesting time in music because there's a lot of artists like that, especially in like the hip hop genre, that are going more towards. I remember there was people were making fun of like the auto tuning and the singing, but a lot of artists are moving genres of music. They blend into other things. R&B like blues becomes rock and roll, becomes alternative, becomes this. Like that's you see when you look back on history, you can see genres of music shifting. It's a little harder to see it in the moment. And hip hop it's kind of had a pop blend since maybe 2000, but it's really blurring the lines between hip hop and R&B with artists like Ty Dolla $ign, Young Thug, Lil Yachty, Dram. It's just a lot of singing mixed in with hip hop. And I initially was like, I don't really like when people. Future, I mean, is huge. I don't really like that. But it's just now it's some of my favorite music. Like I really enjoy the current era of hip hop. If I could just go over, I really like Chance the Rapper. He's probably my favorite artist right now. Favorite live show. I actually saw Dram come out with Chance. That's where I saw him live. And Chance the Rapper is the best live show I've ever seen for music. If you have a chance to see Chance the Rapper, you won't regret it. It's not even a hip hop show to me. It's he has a live band at every show he does, and he is singing a lot in his rapping, and a lot of his songs have points to them. Especially on his mixtape Acid Rap, I just think of like the song "Push a Man," and he had Summer Friends on Coloring Book. He's someone from a rough town, Chicago, and just growing up there and getting out of there, and he has a lot of positive vibes in his music. I appreciate people that preach positivity, and he's at the forefront of that. That was a highlight for me this year, and I'm trying to think of another album that Malibu from Anderson .Paak. Both of those artists are nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammys this year. But that just had a lot of interesting sounds, like almost like he had like, there's kind of been like a 50s renaissance lately. Nice. Like you know what I'm talking about, like Charlie Puth and that Meghan Trainor. But it's not just in pop music. Like Anderson .Paak has some things I'm just like, this sounds like something that played at a soda bar in the 1950s. Like that.
Ice cream parlor.
Yeah, ice cream parlor. Yeah. It was there was nothing that I'm like. There's still albums that I listened to from like 2007. I don't think I'm gonna have a 2016 album that I'm gonna listen to for a while. Have some songs, but it's kind of interesting to just look at the shifting music. And I mean, Lemonade. I listened to some Beyonce this year more than I ever have in my life. I think that album deserves album of the year. You got any music thoughts? Anyone else? The boys? We want to move on to other stuff or before Shadow?
I will say this isn't. I have no idea about music this year. I don't keep up with pop culture at all because I don't care.
Oh yeah.
But I will say, and this means pretty much nothing now since Joel literally just said I really like the direction that hip hop is going now. But I was thinking about when D1 was talking about how I hate rap now. Like it used to be be artistic and your vocals would like be poetic instead of just like blunt and all that. And I was gonna say, like, I can't remember a time where the overall consensus was, hey, music is good right now. Like, anytime music is brought up, it was so much better, right? Back in the day. And I think that's just,
I think that has to do, like, nature. As we get older, we think the stuff we listened to when we were younger is better than this stuff now. And kids nowadays are like, oh, that old shit y'all listen to sucks.
I remember...
It's just generational.
Like,
yeah.
or not even that, but just like I remember, like when Lady Gaga came out, or like when she first started making it big, like people, at least people around me, were talking about like, oh, like what is this? Like, you know, where's the, I don't know, poetry. It didn't say poetry, but like, oh, where's this? And like now, like Lady Gaga, like now that she's been around for a while, it's like they're just talking like, oh, like bring back the good stuff, like Lady Gaga, like old Lady Gaga or something.
Music's so funny, yeah. I didn't have a point.
It's just it's cool.
It's just funny, man.
It's cool to hate, you know. It's
Right.
cool to. I know I get accused of this all the fucking time, but it's cool to just like be the first one to say like, oh yeah, like I didn't like this first, and so like everybody just hops on the this sucks bandwagon when you know things might not be so bad. That being said, I don't know how some of these people are getting huge record deals when you can't understand a single word they're rapping. Yeah,
and a
it's
lot of
all-
off-key singers too.
and it's all like the same thing. Like like you don't understand the words, but it's all like everyone.
But I mean, you could say the same thing about Meghan Trainor. Like, I don't hate Meghan Trainor, but I mean, she's her vocal cords. I mean,
Hey, if your lips are moving, then you la la la.
yeah. No,
I
I
don't
mean, she's a like I said, nothing personal, but it's like it's some of the stuff I don't understand. But music's a funny medium because it's so tied to nostalgia. It's almost hard to critique it. Like a music critic to me, I think that would be. It's almost like a non-starter. I don't understand how you can do that as a job because it's so like. Music is, it seems like the hardest medium to disconnect from nostalgia because even video games, you could say, can you tell me that Pong is better than the video games are happening now? Or even like, I loved Smash Bros as a kid. Maybe that's a bad example because that was such a good game, but there's better games now. Like I play games for longer now because they're better. Movies, I feel like, maybe this is a bias, but I feel like movies get better. I mean, there's more movies, so there's a lot more to choose from, but music it's generational. It's always, there's always been a lot of music to listen to, and it seems like the hardest thing to disconnect from having yourself say it was better when I was younger.
You know what's funny? Every generation says mine was better than this. Yeah, it's just normal. Who okay, just like today, who's say one of the most vulgar rappers that is popular right now, Joel? Just
Nobody Epic.
That Nobody Epic guy.
Like
the most vulgar
or
person
I
listen.
One of the most that's popular. That's popular.
I think of popular.
Popular, yes.
I was gonna say like sometimes I listen to Absol. I'm like, damn, Absol, you vulgar. But I don't know. Like it's really killing it.
Or just
There's too many songs on of people singing about stealing their roommate's mattress and shit like that.
But like, just say, for example, this is a bad example, but say like Designer with the
Mm-hmm.
just think
Designer.
in about 50 years that it's going to be this old lady that's like, oh, that's my jam, and like just think about it, all the nasty stuff from today that's just like so bad, and also not just that, taste wise is so bad, but just like it's like, oh my god, do you hear what they're saying?
Yeah.
There's gonna be old elderly people in the future that are gonna be like, oh, that's when music was good. Wow, like that to me is hilarious. That's like, wow, that's really gonna happen. That's gonna really happen. Like, because that's gonna be Yeah,
I feel like that could be like some of us, like possibly with like Eminem or some, because like some of the stuff he said back in the day was like so controversial. Like, oh my god, the stuff he says, like put anthrax on her Tampax. Oh my god,
that was the album before that was worse.
Yeah, I mean, like all of his lyrics, you're like, but they made sense. I mean, it was stuff that made sense. It wasn't just stuff that he said just to rhyme. And I feel like that's what a lot of popular music is now. Like it makes no sense whatsoever, but they just have to either rhyme the same word over and over, or
the same
like
flow.
force something around. Yeah.
And a lot of times,
Dude, that's really good, by the way. You could probably make that.
I can make
single.
money from that, right?
I mean, you'd be a billionaire right now.
DJ.
Yeah. You should just get up there and just get the mic and just start doing that.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh my god, it's
No,
a
you
new
gotta-
hotness."
You gotta do that big DJ thing, like the DJs at festivals, where they say, "Are you ready for the drop?" and like scream into the microphone. That's my favorite thing.
A weak ass drop.
I know. That's my favorite thing in Ultra. And they're like,
Shut up.
"Put your hands up! 1, 2, 3." It's like the weakest drop you've ever heard. It's like, okay.
Yeah, they put a cuss word right before. Shut up, Bob.
Suck my dick.
Frosty's dead.
Frosty's dead.
Oh shit!
Being a DJ, dude. I love it.
I've seen a thing, it was a video on Facebook or something like that where they did that. It was like a huge, build up, and then they dropped like polka music or something.
Oh yeah, in the club. That's funny.
The crowd's just like, huh? What?
Hello.
I was like, I was ready for it.
Damn.
What's the best movie you saw this year, D4?
Best movie I saw this year. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't go to the movies a lot. I probably went 4 or 5 times.
Same.
I don't. Crap. What am I? There were some good movies this year, and I can't remember. Let me bring up some movies real quick. 2016 movies.
Deadpool. You see Deadpool?
No, I don't watch the
year.
superhero stuff. I don't watch it.
Deadpool's different though.
It's
R-rated.
supposedly, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alright, it's alright.
All right, so I'm looking at movies right now. In 2016, some movies that came out. Let's go here. We have Inferno. Never saw that. Bridget Jones, Snowden. Did you ever watch Snowden?
Mm-mm.
I never watched it either. Some people said
I've seen Citizen 4. So I mean that's like actual documentary. I don't know if I'd want to watch a movie about it.
Yeah, Suicide Squad, Bad Mom, none of that stuff. Like I don't know. Like I don't see anything.
But can I say my favorite?
Yeah,
thing?
go ahead, please.
I actually had a mental thing. I think there's some that are like okay. I have some that come to mind. Like 10 Cloverfield Lane. I thought was a great movie. If you haven't seen that movie, dude, you guys watch that movie, dude. 10 Cloverfield Lane is great. I really like that. And the movie that was on ESPN, OJ Made in America, that was great.
You talked about that. I really want to see that.
Like a documentary thing.
You watch
or
that
not
one?
Like a what's it called miniseries.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be a 30 for.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be a 30 for 30, and they had so much stuff they made it like it's like a 8-hour.
Oh, you're
movie.
talking about the ESPN. I was talking about the one that was like with Cuba Gooding Jr. in it.
No, that was my. Like,
I feel like it was.
TV.
Yeah, I feel like
this,
the
OJ had a real year.
OJ was
one
a
of my
big year.
favorite. That was one of my favorite TV shows actually this year. But
Yeah,
the
that's
OJ Made in America, it's like 7 hours and 40 minutes or something. Documentary. I mean, no one has that much time anymore to watch something that long, but I did enjoy that. And I'm a big Star Trek, Star Wars fan. I like both of them a lot. So Star Trek Beyond to me was very, very good. I very much like that. Very nice.
I got you, Joel. I got you, Joel. I watch so much of series, so I'm thinking straight like theater movies. But for me, Stranger Things was amazing. Netflix series. I loved it. It was one of my top one. And of course, I'm gonna say
OJ Made in America is considered a movie, but yeah, we can talk about series too.
yeah, series.
I want to see La La Land really bad, but it doesn't come to my local theater until January 6th.
And then I watched Narcos this year, and so that was big for me. But that's all. I watch a bunch of
Narcos, dude.
So, but other than that, like I didn't watch a bunch of like movies. You were huge into Rotten Tomatoes and like all that stuff. Like this got this many reviews and all that stuff. But
yeah, I always like jerk off to reviews. I'm like, oh, the Rotten Tomato score is so good. But
yeah, number one of 2016. What do you think was the number one rated movie that came out this year?
It's Zootopia.
It's Zootopia, yeah, 98%.
I hated it. I watched that movie too. I did not.
Yeah, when I looked back over the movies, it seemed like a lot of it was either like superhero stuff or children's movies that were like the top ones this year. I can't think of any like movie that like super like stood out to me. I was like, oh my god, that's.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it was like an amazing year for movies. I really want to see La La Land. That Hell or High Water is supposed to be really good. I'm a big Chris Pine guy, obviously, since I said I like Star Trek, so I want to see that. But it's kind of funny to talk about other mediums because we spend so much time with video games that consuming other mediums. It's like you got to have if you don't have an equal balance, if you're doing so much of one, then you do a lot less of the others. But I did want to, it's 2016 wrap up, talk about any series. Like Stranger Things was my big show that I liked too. I think that was my favorite show, and I liked the OJ show with like the actual one on FX. And Westworld, yeah. That's
before we forget, Joel. I thought this was a really good movie. I thought it was dragged out a little bit too much. We talked about this a little bit earlier on another podcast. Hacksaw Ridge. I thought it was one of the better movies this year. I don't know.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was better. One of the better war movies I've seen.
What about you, D1? Did you see anything that caught your eye this year?
I'm so out of the loop. That's why I've been quiet this whole time. I'm listening. I'm like, okay,
no, don't come to me.
Yeah, because I barely watch movies at all. That's wow. Talk about just taking the air out of the room. Sorry about that.
What TV do you watch? Do you watch any TV?
You and the wife
shows?
Netflix and chill?
What do I watch? I started watching Westworld, which was awesome, but like it was really good. But it's funny, like it's funny. My dad says he's like you're not used to what do you say? How do you say this? He's like you're not fun anymore. Because I don't I'm so busy with just music and making stuff that I'm seriously off the map. If I watch anything, it's all just YouTube videos pretty much, or maybe Netflix here and there and stuff. But yeah, as far as movies, I haven't seen it, but I know people are talking a lot about Arrival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that movie made me cry. Just a little bit, not like that, but yeah, I that was a great movie to me too. It wasn't like a super memorable movie. Like I like Interstellar better, probably. But just looking now that I'm a little far away from Arrival, but I mean it was a great movie, and that director's hot right now. He's had he made Prisoners and I don't know how to say it, Sicarios. Sorry, and he has the Blade Runner sequel to Blade Runner's coming out next year, and he's directing that too.
Yeah, nice. Oh, I saw. I did see Jason Bourne recently. That's like the newest.
Oh my god!
Wasn't that supposed to be trash?
Born.
Not a great one.
I don't know. I'm a bad judge now because I'm so disconnected with movies. Like an action type movie, I'm just like, oh, that's not possible. Oh, that wouldn't happen. No, like
Shadow did well, so well.
Yeah. So, Shadow was making the argument. What's that argument you make, Shadow, about how you can't? And not an argument. It's you're feeling that you can't watch things because you can't disconnect yourself from. That's Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks isn't really flying that plane.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin can't be anything but Home Alone.
It's not even necessarily like that's unrealistic thing. Even though the more Cinema Sins I watch, the more the more I start doing that. But no, it's not necessarily the realism that bothers me. Like I don't care if somebody lifts up a plane to save a family member or something. It's just I can't. They're on a movie set. There's cameras everywhere. Like I don't know if they're actually on set. I can't. Whatever. This is stupid. These are adults playing pretend. Like what the
hell. One thing. I mean, we're gonna go back to the Netflix stuff or whatever. One thing that I got into, and I know it came out like December of last year or whatever, but the Making a Murderer stuff, like it came out like at the end of the year, and so like I got into that, and then like it kind of led me into like listening to Serial, the podcast, and off that like I've been like hooked on like true crime podcasts like Undisclosed, and there's a bunch of other ones I listen to, but like that kind of got me hooked on podcasts, the Serial podcast during 2016. So like I used to not listen to any podcast, but I mean I listen to like Joe Rogan and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
But I really got into like the true crime stuff or whatever. So that's one thing that I got into in 2016. Did you guys listen to any podcasts, new podcasts or anything?
I think Joel and I both listen to Joe Rogan from time to time, especially when he has comedians on. That's a huge thing for me when he has comedians on. And of course, UFC fighters. If he's had one of my favorite fighters on, I'm going to go listen to that. Joel, I think, listens to a lot of podcasts.
Besides like YouTube and video games, podcasts are probably the medium I consume the most. I don't know. I just like the spoken word, and I like not having to. The best thing about podcasts is I can play video games and listen to them at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this, I listen to a lot of, it's just a lot of sports stuff that I feel like people wouldn't care about. Like there's a local sports podcast I listen to, and I like a lot of Bill Simmons stuff. He started a website this year, The Ringer, and I listen to a lot of those podcasts, and ESPN True Hoop podcast, ESPN like sports related NBA podcast. The Mark Maron podcast where he interviews people I know, like Dana Carvey I'm seeing is in my feed to listen to, and I want to listen to Casey Affleck, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan actually just put up one I wanted to listen to today. I just saw it, so I added it to my queue. My queue is like 30 podcasts long right now, but he interviewed Ron White, that comedian, cigar smoking, scotch drinking. Yeah, that's going to be a really good one. I can already tell.
Tater salad.
Yeah, that's going to be a real good one. That's and a lot of sports stuff. I listen to mindless sports stuff, and this year really big for politics. I listened to hours of politics talk. So yeah, that's my a lot of like NPR politics podcasts and 538 and stuff like that.
Where do you like, what do you use to listen to podcasts? Is it an app?
I have an iPhone, D1, so I just use the podcast app.
Oh, okay.
I know. You and Shadow are the real Android loyalists, but I prefer.
I usually just go to D4's YouTube channel to listen to mine.
Hell yeah!
I was iPhone for years until I just kind of moved over. No, I'm a Mac person, so like I was on iPhone for years. Yeah.
Macs are fine, dude.
No, they're not.
I like mac and cheese.
Yeah, I'm just.
I love mac and cheese. Yeah. It's.
All right, maybe I'll just look on the Android thing.
We're gonna get you into all kinds of stuff, D1.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine, whatever.
I'm tired of working.
I feel like this could last forever. I feel like this 2016 recap could last forever because we haven't touched the surface on anything. But I will say that time is up for this podcast for today.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the election.
I know. We were going to get there, and I wanted to, but I didn't want it to get too crazy up in here, okay? But we might have to have D1 back for the next podcast if he wants to be a guest, just finish off this 2016 talk. But for the most part, thank you guys for coming to the podcast. I know we kind of got stuck on a couple of things, but that's okay because that's what podcasts are for. That's what we do. We have a lot to talk about, not enough time. But D20, thanks for coming, man. And Joel, of course, like always. Shadow, thanks for putting in your 2 cents as well. And D1, the guest of honor, thank you for coming in. If you don't know who D1 is, again, I suggest you check out the links below. He will have all of his stuff down below, iTunes, all that stuff that you guys want to check out. And look for his stuff coming up very soon, especially because it involves us, and we're always excited. And we're very appreciative of D1 and everything that he does for us. A lot of behind the scenes. He's like another member of our close family here, and we love him to death. So definitely support him as much as you can, and support the other guys on the podcast as well. And tell Sidearms, tweet at Sidearms, tell him, hey, dumbass, you weren't on the podcast. What the fuck, did you go to sleep or something? But other than that,
claims he did.
Yeah, he said he did, but he ain't sleep.
Retweet stuff.
Exactly. But thank you guys so much again for coming to another podcast. And if you're listening to this, on your way to work or your way to school or whatever it might be, if you're out there the holidays, because I know this is going to be posted right before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. Have a great New Year. We'll be back next year in 2017. So we look forward for you to spend 2017 with us here on the podcast. We love your face, and we'll see you guys next year. Peace out.
See you next year, bitches.